Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 8, verse 18. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajakachaja Stotara Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prinsika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gora Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 8, verse number 18. Avyaktad vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti haragame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samgyake. Avyaktad vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti haragame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samgyake. Avyaktad vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti haragame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samgyake. Avyakta vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti aharagame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samgyake. Avyakta, from the unmanifest. Vyaktaya, living entities. Sarva, all. Prabhavanti, come into being. Aha agame, at the beginning of the day. Ratriyagame, at the fall of night. Praliyante, or annihilated. Tatra, there. Eva, certainly. Avyakta, the unmanifest. Samyake, called. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being. And at the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. Purport. The less intelligent jivas try to remain within this material world and are accordingly elevated and degraded in the various planetary systems. During the daytime of Brahma, they exhibit their activities, and at the coming of Brahma's night, they are annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, these bodies perish. The jivas, individual souls, remain compact in the body of Vishnu and again are manifested on arrival of Brahma's day. When Brahma's life is finally finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifested for millions and millions of years. Finally, when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, the jivas are captivated by the material world. However, those intelligent beings who take to Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama in devotional service transfer themselves, even in this life, to that spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Avyakta vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti aharagame ratriyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samgyake. There are two annihilations of the material universes. One annihilation takes place at the end of Lord Brahma's 100 years. That's, as we explained yesterday, 311 trillion 50 million years. Inconceivable. That time span is inconceivable because we do not have the metrics to measure such time. So after 311 trillion years, this universe is wound up. But at the end of each of Brahma's day, there is also a dissolution. And that dissolution means that all the planetary systems up to Tapaloka, Siddhaloka, all up to the planets in which the perfect beings and Lord Brahma resides within this universe. Up to that point, the whole universe is inundated. And then, at the end of Brahma's night, again, there is creation of these planetary systems. One Brahma's day is 4 yugas multiplied by 1,000. Satya, Tetra, Dwapara, and Kali altogether are 4 million years. Multiplied by 1,000, that is the day of Brahma. And at the day of Brahma, there is a partial annihilation. And again, at the end of Brahma's night, so this partial annihilation lasts for 4,000 million years. And at the end of that night, again, there is creation. So the living entity is moving through different bodies, and he's also moving through different creations and annihilation cycles. This is the situation. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th chapter, Krishna says, Sarva Bhutani Konteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaye. All the living entities are, at the end of the millennium, they enter into my nature. They enter into the body of Vishnu. Punastani Kalpado Vishrijaniyaham. And again, this creation takes place. So this creation and annihilation follows one another, just like night follows day. Now, if we live just for the present, night and day, the result of this living without enlightenment is that we die and we take another birth and another birth and another birth. Punastani Vishrijamyam, Krishna says, again I create, destroy and creation. Therefore, this universe is called Jagat. What does Jagat mean? Jagat means it is always moving. The word Jagat means to move. There is no permanent solution. There is no permanent platform. We think that this body is a permanent platform. We think that our connection with this body, our family, our wives, our children, we put so much faith. If you look around you in today's society, 99.99% of all human beings on this planet are simply absorbed in family life. Even the mainline religions, Christianity, Buddhism, they teach that the purpose of life is to have very nice family arrangement. And when you die, you remain asleep for some time, and again you take your birth in the same body to enjoy with the same family members. It is inconceivable that people can believe such a fairy tale. But the actual fact is that when this body is finished, you cannot get it back any more than I can get back my childhood body that I've had in this life. If I look at today, I was looking at photographs in my archive, and I've seen pictures of myself 20, 30 years ago, but that body is gone. It can never come back. And I have no guarantee what body I will get in the next life. Simply wishful thinking that I will come back to family life. They think family life is the purpose of existence. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But this family life, wife, children, household paraphernalia, bank balance, these things cannot protect us at the moment of death. They are called asatsu, atma saineshu, these soldiers of the soul, of the body. We are putting, just like a king, he has his soldiers to protect his kingdom. So our kingdom, our family kingdom, we put our energy into these soldiers to defend ourselves, to protect ourselves, to enjoy with. And that is wife, husband, children, money, household paraphernalia, animals, land. But these things are called, even though they are soldiers, to protect us, they are asatsu. They are temporary. You cannot maintain your family life. And to think that you're going to get back your family, your same family, in a future birth, that is not supported in any parts of the Vedas. So this worshipping of the body, it is simply ignorance. It is tamaguna. So atma sanyeshu asatsvapi tesham pramatmanidanam pashyati apina pashyati. And even though we have instructions from the Vedas, we have instructions from the devotees that this material situation cannot become permanent. It is always moving. Still we think, no, I will be happy in family life. And that is called apramata, madness. that you can see that everybody is being destroyed, that everything you build is being destroyed, still you think it will not happen to me. Therefore, Krishna says, when you become God conscious, this is the instruction of the Gita in the 18th chapter. Krishna says that I am there in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam rid desh arjuna tishtati. I am tishtati. I am situated sarva bhutanam rid desh, in the heart of every living entity. Brahmayam sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. And I am directing the wandering of the living entity who is sitting in this machine made of the material energy. This is the material body. In other words, we are not the body. It is a machine. This is intelligence. Prabhupada tells a very funny story that when the British built the first railway line in India, it was from Calcutta to Burdwan. Burdwan is in the village side of Bengal, internally in Bengal. So when the cultivators, the simple farmers, saw the train coming, big engine, woof, 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 making a sound, they thought, how is it possible that this metal machine, it is moving so fast over the land? Where are the horses? They were thinking there must be a horse, because in their experience, anything moving fast needed a horse. That was the system. So they speculated and said, inside that engine, they must have put the horses, and the horses are galloping, and therefore the train is moving. So this is what the living entity is thinking. He's identifying with the body, and he has no experience beyond the body. So he's moving along, thinking, aham mameti, I am this body. But Krishna says, there is another reality, and that reality is me, Ishvara, the supreme controller. There is a controller. Nobody can argue there is no controller. They may not accept this person as God or that person as God. They may not accept Krishna as God or Jehovah or Allah, but they have to accept there is a controller. You may be an atheist, but you cannot say there is no one in control, because the seasons follow each other. Spring to summer, to autumn, to winter. Night goes into day, day goes into night. Everything is moving in a cycle. Everything is moving in a regulated way. Suppose I go outside my door and I want to catch the tram. At my tram stop, there is a tram every 12 minutes to the center station. So I wait 12 minutes, the train comes, I get on. Maybe it's 1 minute late or 2 minutes late or early, but the tram comes from morning 6 to midnight. Every 12 minutes, a train comes. What does that imply? That implies there is somebody who's taking care to make sure that the trams are available, the drivers are available, the conductors, there is power of the line, and because there is a controller behind the tram line, the tram is coming. Now, if I go to my tram stop and after 10 minutes there is no tram, after 20 minutes there is a tram, after 30 minutes there is no tram, if it is haphazard, what is the first thing you say? Who is in charge of this? Who is in charge if there is such a disturbance in the timetable? So in the same way, if the material energy didn't work according to very perfect rules, so perfect that astrologers, astronomers, they can predict the eclipse of the sun, the eclipse of the moon, years in advance. If there was no control, then there was no regularity. You can say, well, there is no controller. But because there is regularity, because there is proper administration, then it implies there is a controller. And that controller is called Ishvara. Because we know Parameshwara Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme controller. But in the 18th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. That controller is also in the heart of everyone. Now, Tam eva sharanam gacha. Simply surrender to him. In other words, take direction from that controller. The controller, just like the tram company, they publish timetables when the trams are running. So similarly, the controller of the universe, he gives us instructions how things work. So by studying those instructions, which is real knowledge, we can understand how the currents of the material energy works. So Krishna says, take shelter of this controller. Tameva sharanam gacha. Surrender to him because he is in control. Krishna is advising us to surrender to him, not because of any sentimentality, or not because of any dogma, or because of any law made by in some arbitrary way. No, because he's in control, therefore he can demand that we surrender. And because he's in control, if we surrender, we can benefit from understanding how this Jagat, this universe, works. So, under all circumstances, Krishna says, Sarva Bhavena Bharata. My dear Arjuna, under all circumstances, simply take shelter of this Supreme Controller in your heart. Just like if somebody comes to me and asks me questions and I give him answers truthfully, and if somebody asks for my help or my advice, I give him advice to the best of my ability. That is the natural way that human beings interact with one another. Similarly, if we ask the controller within our heart, then we will get proper instruction and proper advice. And what is that advice? What will happen if we take shelter of this controller? Tamiva sharanam gacha, sarva bhavena bharata, if we take shelter under all circumstances. Tat prasada, by his mercy, param shantim, will become peaceful. Because by taking advice from Krishna, then there will be no surprises. We will know exactly what happens. Tat prasad, by his mercy, stanam prapsasi saswata. We will get stanam. We will get something to stand on, which is Krishna. When we have Krishna as our support, as our platform, then the movement of the Jagat, the movement of the universe, that will not affect us. Therefore, Lord Shiva said to his wife, Parvati, that for a devotee, whether he's in heaven or whether he's in hell, sarva upavarga narakeshu, it doesn't matter. He is happy because he is standing on the power of Krishna. Krishna says, surrender to me, ma sucha. I will protect you. So, this is the brief philosophy of Krishna, brief understanding of how the universe works. By reading Bhagavad Gita, we can get proper understanding. We won't be surprised. We can understand how material life without Krishna consciousness is actually useless. It is a place of suffering. We invest so much energy, we invest so much affection, so much work into our material situation, but it will be finished. So people say, well, but the devotees also, they also invest time and energy in the material world. They work just as hard, if not harder than the karmis. The difference is that a devotee works for the pleasure of Krishna. And when you work for the pleasure of Krishna, you get free from material miseries. Pure bhakti, pure devotional service, the first result of pure devotional service is a cessation of all material miseries. Even if you are materially impoverished, even if you materially suffer, when you are connected with Krishna, that suffering becomes a blessing. When Krishna, by his wish, we may suffer, that suffering is for our own advancement. When you understand that even though I'm suffering, the result of this suffering and austerity is that I'm making progress toward Krishna, the whole scene changes. You become happy. You become happy to suffer on behalf of Krishna. You pray to Krishna, please engage me in your service. You don't say to Krishna, I only want to be engaged in pleasant service. No, whatever you want. And because Krishna is the only one who can actually bring us to this position of sthanam, this position of steadiness in the shifting sands of the material universe. Here also some words are used, avyaktam. Later on, earlier on when we did 7th chapter, Gita, in the Gita, also Krishna was explaining that avyaktam vyaktim apannam manyate mama buddhaya param bhava majananto mamavyayam anuttamam. That people think that the supreme absolute truth is impersonal, that from the avyakta, from the non-manifest, then vyakta, manifest, is coming. This is the Mayavadi philosophy, that God is impersonal, but it takes the form of a person to help us to become concentrated so that one day we enter into the impersonal. But Krishna says no. If you think like that, if you think that from the impersonal, the personal comes, then Krishna says you're abuddhaya. You have no brains. You're less intelligent. I'm a person, and so many things come from a personality, so many impersonal things come, but the personality is behind everything. So where did I get my personality? If I have a personality, that means God also has a personality because He's my creator. I cannot have more than God has. So it is very logical. We can take shelter of Krishna as a person, and then we enter into a friendly relationship, either as master servant or as a friend. And initially, this friendship gives us so much peace, so much freedom from the uncertainties of the material world. We are no longer out of control. We take control of our life. And that control is something which cannot be, you cannot estimate how wonderful it is. That control in relationship with Krishna, when you know that Krishna is behind me, it is like a child who has a powerful father. He doesn't have to worry about anything. His father will protect him. So our Father Krishna is saying, just come to me, I will give you protection. Do not fear. You will come to a steady platform that even if you're in suffering, you will not see it as suffering. You will be able to tolerate everything. Because of my body, because of my previous karma, my previous activities, which are from beginningless time, so many reactions come up, and those reactions may cause pain, but Krishna will always give us the power to tolerate the pain, and at the same time to have this certainty that Krishna is behind me, so He's purifying me, He's helping me to come to the highest position, so I don't have to rock and roll into this material universe. I don't have to take birth again and again. I don't have to go and live millions of years in a suspended animation in a body of Vishnu until another creation take place. That'll be finished. I will go to the spiritual world. And wherever I go, once I reestablish my relationship with Krishna, I will never come back to this material world. Thank you very much. So, we have some friends online. Krishna Premavati Devidasi, Hare Krishna Prabhu. She says, can there be two programs at the same time? I believe so, yes. I think tonight at the temple, at the Hare Krishna temple in Amsterdam, there is the ceremony to celebrate the anniversary of the installation of the deities. In Amsterdam, we have the deity of Gaur-Nitai. They were installed in 1988 at the ISKCON temple on the Reuselkade, not far from the present temple. And actually, I was involved in the installation along with my godbrother, Brahmananda Prabhu. Brahmananda was one of Prabhupada's first disciples, and he was living in the temple at Reuselkade. And he and I, together with a pujari from Switzerland, we installed these deities. So there is a program at the temple tonight, but because of coronavirus, there is very limited attendance, and I did not attend because of my old age. I'm in high risk, so my doctor has advised me not to attend any gatherings. But tonight there is a program at the temple, and I believe there is a live feed along with the Bhagavad Gita. But at the end of this program, you can also watch that program. Then we have Atmavidya Prabhu, Dandavats, Pranjal Joshi from Jaipur, Haribol, Rob Ealings, Mandy Pryor. Rob says, the greatest illusions is that we think that our lives should be without problems. Problems will always be there and are meant to bring us closer to Krishna. When Kunti welcomes such calamities, so to pray to Krishna more sincerely and obtain his darshan. The jiva spends all his life solving problems, chasing fleeting happiness, but by becoming Krishna conscious, the ocean of problems is reduced to the size of the footprint of a calf. Very nice. Very nice description. It is a fact. Kunti Devi, when at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, her son Yudhishthira was installed as emperor, and all the 5 Pandavas were not killed. Krishna had promised her that he would protect her sons. Then when everything was settled, when the enemy was defeated, Duryodhana was killed, Dhritarashtra went to the forest. Then Kunti Devi, she saw that Krishna was leaving Hastinapura and he was going back to Dwarka. So she prayed to him that when we were in trouble, you were always with us. Now we are nicely situated. We have won our kingdom. We have avenged all the insults. Now that we are in a safe place, you're going away. So my conclusion is, better you send us trouble more and more, because when we're in trouble, we can think of you. Kleshagni. The unique characteristics of bhakti is the ability to destroy suffering. It is a fact. Thank you. Its bestowal of auspiciousness, its disregard for liberation, its rarity of attainment, is manifestation of concentrated bliss, and its ability to attract Krishna. Thank you, Raghava Pandit. It is a very beautiful quote from the Brahma Samhita, and it is true. And Shakti is also joined from The Hague. She says that the problems are also there to cleanse the anarthas. Exactly. And she continues, I once had a really bad habit, but now I don't, since I went through some suffering, but it was worth it. It's exactly. Actually, when I was a schoolboy, I went to a very strict English type college, and they used to punish us with cane. If we did anything wrong, we would have to bend over, and we got whipped on the butt with a cane. And one particular teacher, I'll never forget, he used to have a mantra. Before he used to cane us, he used to say, be glad that you're being punished, because the punishment is meant to improve your character. So that is the fact. That is the elemental truth there. That when we suffer, we then examine, why am I suffering? What is the reason? So the main suffering is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, old age, disease, death, and birth. So we should ask ourselves, why? If I want to live eternally, if I want to be unlimitedly happy, if I want everybody around me to be happy and knowledgeable and free from ignorance, then why am I suffering this? Why am I getting old and dying? Why am I going through all these problems? Why am I not Sat-Chit Ananda? Why don't I achieve? So when you ask these questions, then the Ishvara within the heart, Lord Krishna, he will answer. And that is the perfection of Bhakti Yoga. Thank you very much. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.